Welcome to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success. I'm also excited to share my book, Straight from the Admissions Office, a review of my biggest takeaways from the first few hundred podcast episodes. It's packed with direct insights from admissions professionals and practical tips to help students and their families navigate the college admissions process. You can find all of the information in the show notes. Welcome to The Cap, where we are here to speak with college reps and other professionals in the field of college admissions to help answer all your questions and guide you through every step of the process. So if you're serious about college admissions, you've come to the right place. Are you ready? Let's talk about it. And now, here's your host, Dr. John Durante. Welcome to The Cap, the College Admissions Process Podcast. I am your host, John Durante, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today a panel from Roger Williams University. They are very big about collaboration and working together as an admissions team, but also with all of the great things that they do for their students. So they wanted to come on as a panel. So I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves to you.
Hey, John, my name is Jeremy Spencer. I am the Senior Director of Admission responsible for recruitment and communication, and just really excited to be with you today.
I'm Anna Walther, she, her pronouns. I am an Assistant Director of Admission here at Roger. I work with a lot of students across the United States, and I also work a lot with our alumni programming and current student programming to help get students connected to the Roger community even before they might arrive here.
Hi, I'm Allison Chase-Padula. I'm the Assistant Provost for Student Success here at Roger Williams University. I oversee the Center for Student Academic Success, which is our advising and peer mentorship office, our tutoring center, our pre-health program, student accessibility, and international students. And I'm really looking forward to sharing a little bit more about our institution with you today. Thanks for having us.
And hello, everyone. My name is Carol Sacchetti. I serve as the Associate Dean of Student Life and also the Director of Student Programs, Leadership, and Orientation. My office is home to all of the outside of class experiences with student events, clubs, and organizations, and our new student and family orientation program.
And welcome again, Jeremy, Anna, Allison, and Carol. This is so cool that you guys really want to take this collaborative approach and work together on this podcast episode. So for the purpose of the episode, we'll speak to each of you individually, starting with Jeremy Spencer. We're going to talk to you about admissions and application review. So Jeremy, RUW takes a holistic approach when reviewing those applications. Can you walk us through what that looks like and what students should know when applying?
Yeah, thank you, John. So the holistic approach isn't unique to Roger Williams. There's other universities out there that take a holistic approach, but I think it's important within the context of Roger Williams to really understand, what that means for us and what it means for our applicants. And students that visit our website will see on the admissions page a very outline perspective of how we approach application review. Not a lot of schools, to my knowledge, has it in the greatest of depth that Roger Williams does, because we really want to make sure that our applicants understand that we really are treating them as individuals through the process, and everything that they've done up until the point of application that they choose to be able to present in the admissions process, we will take into consideration with making those admission decisions. And that's where that holistic approach comes in. Students come from a variety of different backgrounds. They have a variety of different stories, and we want to make sure that the students understand, what that means through the process. So, going through the common application, we expect students to submit the application along with their official transcripts, the council review form, the recommendation letter, and the essay, and anything else that they may want to present, as part of that application review process. If they're interested in the honors program, there are additional questions that we do ask, but that is allowing the applicant to tell their own story through the process. And within that holistic review, it's also important to understand that some students may find the holistic review process a bit overwhelming. They might not fully understand what that means. And it's a daunting experience when we're presenting them with all of these available options to present to us that therefore they seem like that's just a little daunting. So a couple years ago, we actually developed a partnership with Niche. It's an online application search engine to be able to. We first started with a pilot of direct admission, and now we're fully on board with direct admission. And what that allows us to do is that we actually are able to communicate with students based on their self-identified profile on the Niche platform to share with them that we think that they would be a good applicant for Roger Williams, and we communicate that with them so therefore they actually get to see that a college actually has an interest in them. And then when they choose to be able to go through direct admission, we give them the same opportunity to present all of the credentials that we expect through the common application, or we don't. It's totally up to them as far as what they want to be able to present to us. However, in that context, we always want to make sure that students understand that whatever they give us to read, we will read it and take that into consideration when making the admit decision. Anna, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Jeremy, with so much that you just said there. I would also really point out that I think so much of what makes us a really unique institution when it comes to the application process is we hear this term holistic review very commonly, but unfortunately, as we know, that's not necessarily the case at all institutions that might say that, given the number of applications, whatever reason it might be. But here at Roger, I mean, I know firsthand, I'm doing thousands of application reviews each year, and I am reading that entire application front to back, regardless of what materials you've submitted, regardless of how many letter of recommendations. Like Jeremy said, we only require one letter, but if you submit 14, I will be taking the time to read all 14. And then I know we talk about this a little bit more in our roommate process, but I won't jump the gun on that one. But I always say college process, it's similar to dating, right? Like you're trying to find your perfect match. We're trying to find the right fit in that process. And it really works itself out at the end of the day through all that.
Well, that's a terrific overview. And in terms of making an application stand out, what specific qualities make the application stand out at RWU? And are there particular essay topics or even extracurriculars that catch your attention?
Yeah, I can get started, John, and then ask Anna to share because she's read a lot more applications than I have at Roger. But what I can do is share the context. What we want is authenticity. We really want students to present themselves as who they are versus a cookie cutter approach and being able to do what they think that we want to hear. And it's a perfect example. For instance, in the application review process, some applications go to committee. Allison sits on the committee, as does Anna and I, and we actually go through what the students write in their essays, what the recommendation letters say, in addition to their course selection, their grades, etc. Holistically, we take a look at what is the student trying to do and how is it in alignment with the academic subject of which they want to study. The best thing that students can do is within that sense of authenticity is tell us a story about why they want to go into that academic program to help us make meaning out of that particular reason of why the student wants to go into this major, us making the connections that if there might not be the best academic fit on the co-curricular side, the job side, et cetera, whatever they presented themselves, they've demonstrated their interest in studying that particular subject, which helps us make good decisions. So I would say the sense of authenticity. What do you think, Anna?
Authenticity all the way. I say if students can find a topic that they can talk about for 5 hours on end whenever they're just picking up a conversation with someone, whether they're teaching them about it or just feel so passionate about it, that is absolutely 110% going to come across in that essay they're writing about. A few for me specifically come to mind. I had a student compare themselves to different type of teas because they were just such a tea fanatic. I knew nothing about tea and I learned so much by the end of that and about the student. Another one, a student who wrote the first part of their essay as if it was going to be about a sporting event, which we get a lot of essays about. They're talking about the rumble, the fight, all these types of things. And by the end of it, they go on to say, we were quadruplets fighting for each of our spots in birth order and who was going to be coming out first. And then another really kind of funny one, which I think might catch you by surprise in the first sentence, but really ties you in to kind of be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It goes, I still remember the look on my English teacher's face when I asked her for a rubber. Her eyes grew wide and she stared incomprehensively at me. obviously going to be a pause to be like, what is this student going to be writing about? What is happening? She looked quite embarrassed, and I had no clue what I did wrong. It was my first day in an American school, and I made a mistake on the English placement exam, and I used British English for the word pencil eraser instead. So finding something that's funny, humorous in a good way, and just something you're passionate about goes a long way.
Well, that's awesome. And you're definitely looking for authenticity. So, students, present yourself in terms of who you are. Don't try to be someone else throughout the application process. And so, Jeremy, back to you. With so many colleges going test optional, can you clarify RUW's stance on standardized testing and how students should decide whether or not to submit their scores?
That's a great question. Well, the first off is letting applicants and prospective students know that RW has been test optional for over a decade. So it's not a trend, it's not a fad, it's not doing something to be able to respond to what's happening in trends. Is to let students know that over a decade ago we recognized that SATs, while they play a part in the application process, it's only a part if students so choose to be able to submit those. Because we are an SAT optional institution, not an SAT blind institution. And it's important for applicants to know SAT blind institutions means institutions won't receive them. If they receive them, they will black them out. They will not allow any professional on the admission staff to be able to see them. And that's not what we are. We're SAT optional, meaning that if a student wants to submit their SAT or ACT score as part of their narrative, then they can, and if they choose not to, then they choose not to. And we don't make any assumptions on the admissions process side of whether they submit or whether they don't submit. It's when they do submit, it's also usually with a narrative of why they did this. This helps me to present myself to you as a prospective applicant, and this tells my story. So ultimately, what we always tell students is if you choose not to submit SAT scores, that's perfectly okay. And if you choose to, then you're telling us that there's a reason or why you wanted to choose to send it to us, and therefore we'll take that into consideration based on your choice.
Well, I appreciate you talking about the fact that RWU has been, in fact, test optional for over a decade. And I also appreciate you describing the differences between being test optional and test blind, which are, again, extremely different. And sometimes students and their families get confused. So we appreciate that, Jeremy. And in terms of the common application, what are the most common mistakes students make in their applications, and how can they avoid them?
Sure. The process of the common application and us being a common application member institution is that we're trying to make it easy for students. When I say easy, meaning that the process of applying should be simplified, to be able to understand that there's a common platform and students don't have to keep writing the same thing over and over and over again to multiple institutions, and therefore can allow the process to be less daunting, allow the process to be less of a barrier, to be able to facilitate their application to multiple institutions. So there's soundness in it, and that's why we're a common app member institution, because we believe in access, and that's an access point. Similar to what I shared earlier with the niche direct admission, it's an access point. I'll share my experiences with common application mistakes, and I'll ask Anna to do the same. But one of the things about the common application that students have to be cognizant of is that they do have supplemental opportunities to share information directly with schools, and they want to make sure that that supplemental information that they're sharing directly with the school is not part of the common application, meaning that if you say I really wanted to go to XYZ institution, that's not part of the common application, that's one of the supplements. And for students to not be hasty in submitting their common application when they want to be specific to an institution, that they're being cognizant that if they're choosing to put an actual name of a college in one of their common application materials, that they're being smart about making sure that that particular document gets to the appropriate institution and is not shared with everyone. I would say specifically at Roger Williams, it's not going to be a caustic error in that we're just going to hold it over a student, but it does give us insight especially when students that are on the margins about their attention to detail and going through that process. It just is something just that we can consider because we're seeing it. But ultimately, it's just being smart when you're submitting the common application would be my feedback. Anna, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say Common App is common, so keeping that in mind. But I also think students sometimes forget that this is a way for you to really showcase yourself and really hype yourself up. Like you are your own biggest hype person, and especially for students who may not have visited campus or you may not have had the opportunity to meet at a high school visit or college fair, this might be your first introduction to that student. So the time and effort they're putting in there and actually writing full sentences or really explaining out what their involvements and what those things mean is definitely going to go a long way, because I always say how you submit your common application is probably going to be a reflection of the hard work you're willing to put in as a student later down the road.
Well, thank you so much, Jeremy and Anna, for the great insights. We really appreciate that. And now we're going to switch our focus regarding student life and campus engagement. We're going to turn to Carol Sacchetti. So, Carol, what does student life look like at Roger Williams, and what are some of the most popular traditions, events, or student organizations?
Sure. Thank you, John. Um, Student life at Roger Williams looks different to every student. Some of our students are highly involved in clubs and organizations similar to high school. Some will visit the gym every day, join a varsity team or a club sport team. Some will sit and study with the same group of friends in our library every day. It all is unique to that individual student. And I would like to say that all of our opportunities that my office provides with our 87 different student groups provides something for everyone. You asked about some popular traditions and events. We are fortunate at Roger Williams to have some traditional campus events that students look forward to year in and year out. Could be anything from our involvement fair, where students can go shopping for all our different opportunities, to our annual themed dinners in our dining hall, to some of my personal favorites are homecoming and family weekend casino night, spring concert, to one of our traditional events is our dance club show, which we just had Saturday night, to a packed house of over 700 people to watch our largest club on campus perform. Students will find what their traditions are. And if you were to talk to 10 different students, you would hear 10 different answers on what the most popular traditions, events, and student groups are. We want to treat each student as an individual and give them those opportunities to succeed.
Well, I know that RWU emphasizes leadership and community engagement, as you touched upon. So, how can students take on leadership roles or get involved on campus?
John, it's really easy to just sign your name up, to just sign up of what you want to do. At Roger Williams, we have what's called Roger Link, which is our student engagement app. Students download their app, and similar to their Instagram account, they're following student groups, other students, campus departments, athletic teams to see what is happening on campus. We know that most of our students don't go far without their phone, and it's really easy to see the opportunities that happen on campus and to put those on your calendar. The same works for our community engagement opportunities. Service opportunities are posted through our community engagement office, where students who have a passion for service can join something local in the community, or maybe during spring break, they're going to Habitat for Humanity to build a house in Goldsboro, North Carolina. The possibilities are endless.
Well,
John,
Carol,
just to
oh, please go
sorry,
ahead. Go ahead,
and
Anna.
I was going to say, just to go off that, obviously, being an alumni myself from Roger, Carol, the involvement fair is
Mm,
awesome, which they do in the fall and the spring and has
mm,
all the clubs and orgs out. I know as a freshman, I went and signed up for like
mm,
12 different things. And then I said, whoa, how do I do all this
mm.
plus be a Division III athlete and have all of my academics and everything else? And Carol is a great point person for that, but you find your way how to manage your time through it all. But we have students to that vein that are involved in numerous clubs and orgs. They're able to be president of an honor society or an environmental science club, as well as a marine biology major, and have those opportunities being a school of 4,000 that you may not get the chance to have at a school of 30,000 or so, just given the competition, as said, for those types of spots.
Well, Carol and Anna, those are great points. And adjusting to college life, of course, can be overwhelming for so many of your new students. What should incoming students and families know about the orientation process and first year experience at Roger Williams?
Sure, John. I'm really proud of our orientation program, and it starts with our orientation advisors, our student staff who will do whatever they can to make a student feel comfortable. They are really the first faces and the first peer support that a student is going to meet. Roger Williams hosts a 2-day new student program and a 1-day family program. We really want to try to make sure that students and families know their community they're getting involved in. We look forward each year to our students coming to move in and check into our campus, and that begins our Roger Days. We really want students to build that community. They're making connections at orientation. They're seeing peers on the class Instagram page. Our Roger Days are a perfect way for students to learn a little bit more about various academic and co-curricular programs while sitting at food trucks and making connections and even getting bused to the local Target. If you haven't been to Target with your entire class, you don't know what you're missing. Like some schools, we do a welcome week. We do it a one step further. Our welcome week is actually weeks of welcome. For 30 days, there is something for students to do. Ann and I just mentioned the involvement fair. There's also a study abroad fair, open houses in our library and intercultural center. Our athletic teams are competing. There might be the Eat Local Challenge in our dining hall, where everything is from 150 miles or less for students to try. With 80 plus groups, student meetings happen, and that's where students are going up and saying, hey, let me tell you about my club. Let's make a connection. And the best part for us is we have so many returning students who remember what it was like to be a first year student that a lot of times they're asking various administrators or their resident assistants on campus, I need help getting involved. And our returning students are excellent sources of remembering what their experience was like and how do they pay it forward. That doesn't end during that first month. Our office, in addition to many other offices, hosts various events Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Athletic competitions are always happening. There's always something to do on campus for students to find their place, whether it be theater events, working out at the gym, exploring the local community. We have a lot to offer. And as Anna said, as having, less than 4,000 students, you're seeing those same faces. You're starting to build connections with your peers, but also faculty and staff around campus who want to see them excel both in and outside of the classroom.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I'm glad we covered it because it's a question that students and their families should ask when reviewing different colleges and universities. What is it that the college or university does to help foster that sense of community, to transition all of these students from so many different high schools, in state, out of state? What are you doing to build that community and to hopefully keep students there for 4 years and beyond? So, Carrie, you did a great job explaining all the wonderful things that Roger Williams does. And so now I want to turn to academic support and student success. So, Allison Chase Padula, who's the assistant provost for student success, we're going to turn to you. Allison, college presents new academic challenges, of course. What kind of support systems does RWU have in place to help students succeed academically?
Thanks, John. I'm proud to lead our student success initiatives on campus, and we've had a long-standing commitment to ensuring that we are ready for our students and the needs that they will present to us. One of the special things about Roger Williams has always been that we are an incredibly strong community that supports one another, and no matter what it is that students are looking to develop skills in, to grow as a person, that they can reach out to a number of different offices on campus for support. We start in our first year with helping students not only succeed, but we really want them to thrive, right? We want them to be happy as students, as learners, but also as a whole person. And so we focus in the first year on the entire first year experience. And that starts with certainly our new student orientation program that Carol spoke about, but continues into the fall semester when they arrive. They are met with a peer mentor who's assigned to them for their entire first year. And that's an upperclassman who's been trained on the needs of first year students and to share their own personal experiences with what they learned in their first year. We know that students are going to ask questions of other students that they would never ask myself or someone else. And we really want them to feel that they have someone to turn to have a really honest conversation about what it is that they're working through. So that peer mentor stays with them for the entire first year, both semesters, encourages them to get involved on campus, to get to know their faculty, reminds them of important processes and dates that are coming up, and basically serves as a mentor to that student to be sure that they can make the most out of their first year. And then we also have students to help with their transition, a first year seminar, which is an academic course for credit. Students have the opportunity to choose from a number of different topics that are important to them, something that they're interested in, various topics led by faculty who have chose to work with first year students. And why is that so important? Well, when a faculty member can recognize the unique challenges of transition for first year students, they're in a unique position to really support them and to develop a relationship. And so these students take a course with a faculty member, and in that course, they're learning not only about the subject matter and the content area, but they're learning about what the important skills are to be a strong student here at Roger Williams University. Our general education program is also another unique way for students to start to learn more about themselves as a learner. And so our general education program is focused on giving students the ability to learn from a lot of different liberal arts areas. And why is that important? Well, to develop a strong learning environment, to develop a strong professional environment, you have to have that depth and breadth of knowledge. And so students are introduced to a number of different academic subjects that maybe they hadn't explored before. And this helps them either confirm their choices with their major, or maybe gives them a new opportunity to explore an interest that they didn't know they even had until they came to Roger Williams. So we give them the opportunity to try things on for size, to dabble a little bit in different areas so that they can make a choice that's right for them with their career path. And then for academic support, students have a number of different areas that they can turn to develop those skills. First of all of our students receive a faculty or professional advisor that helps them develop their academic plan that's available to them to help them really pick and choose what the academic opportunities are on campus that are most exciting to them. And then we have what we call the developmental areas. So students who are looking for that extra challenge, that extra support in developing skills in a particular course can turn to our tutoring center, which is one of the busiest places on campus. It's located in our main library and actually supports all of our academic areas. So we have math and science tutoring, we have a writing center, we have a science center. We are now also expanding into our Gabelli School of Business courses, our architecture courses, as well as engineering. And so students can come in and continue to work on the skills that are going to help them improve their grades. And we have both faculty and peer tutors available. So whatever a student is most comfortable in working on.
Well, that's awesome. It's clear that you have something for everyone and that you're definitely a school community that supports each and every one of your students. And sometimes students require additional academic assistance, whether it's tutoring or accessibility accommodations. So how does Roger Williams ensure all students have the resources they need?
Well, thanks for asking that, because inclusion is really important to us here at Roger Williams University. Our Student Accessibility Services Office supports students with learning differences, sensory impairments, physical disabilities, medical conditions, temporary disabilities, and it's as simple as them identifying themselves to us once they are accepted and providing documentation, and then we will do an enrollment meeting with them over the summer prior to their arrival and help them talk through what are the supports that have helped them in the past, what are they anticipating as maybe some of the challenges in starting college, and then we will make an individual plan with them to think about what those accommodations look like, how to balance their schedule, how to select their courses, and we're available throughout their time here at Roger Williams. So whether they need help with taking a second look at their course schedule, or they are maybe planning to study abroad and are wondering how their accommodations can transfer there, we are here for students to come in and get that extra help they might need to really be able to show what they can do as a student here at Roger.
Well, thank you so much, Allison. It's clear that you guys have so many resources. First of all, to transition your students to Roger Williams, but also to support them while they are there. Now, academic success also includes planning for the future. How does Roger Williams help students with career readiness, internships, and post graduation planning?
Great. We have a wonderful Center for Career and Professional Development here at Roger Williams that works with students throughout their time as a student. So often students think of applying for a job maybe when they're a junior or a senior and want to put it off, but we really encourage them to start as early as they would like to have those conversations about what careers look like. Many times students are exploring majors. They are figuring out what area their skill set would be most matched to. And so going in and having a conversation with a career advisor will help them understand what it means to be in certain career fields. As they move through their time here at Roger Williams and are thinking about opportunities to get hands-on experience, not only is there opportunities to do research with faculty, but as you mentioned, internships, shadow visits, going to career fairs on campus, panels on different fields. There's so much for them to really gather more information to make an educated decision. And our Career and Professional Development Office will work with them to do things like mock interviewing, to review their resumes, and to provide them with some coaching so that they feel prepared going out to try to land that first professional job after they graduate. And what's unique to Roger Williams, and I don't think you see this at a lot of institutions, is that our Career and Professional Development Office will stay with you for a lifetime. So once you're a hawk, you're always a hawk, and you can come back at any time after graduation to seek support from that office.
Well, Allison, that was tremendous. I really appreciate you giving us the entire overview of the academic supports, not only when they're on your campus, but beyond graduation. So, again, we really appreciate that. And I want to talk a little bit about building connections as a prospective student. So, we're going to turn to you, Anna. Of course, prospective students often hear that visiting campus and connecting with the community is very important. If a student is fortunate enough to visit, what are some of the areas they need to visit, and what are some good examples of questions they should be asking?
Yeah, great question, John. I love when students are able to visit our campus. First, we are the number one safest college town in the nation, and we're right on the water, so it's already beautiful to start with that. But I think for me, the biggest advice that I have for students when they're going to campus is do the college tour, listen to the information session, sit in on all those things, participate in all those things. But if you have time within that, go and walk around on your own as well and really explore so long as those schools allow it. And you can get a true sense of what that environment is really like, especially if it's during the school year when students are going to be around on campus. Summer might look a little bit different, but anytime between September through May, you're going to be able to peek into those classrooms, really see those class sizes that schools are talking about. Um, Talk to the students. They're generally open books about what things are like on campus. Don't be afraid to ask. I would say if students can make it to larger events like open houses or accepted students days events or things like that as they're going to the college process, college visit, campus tours are fantastic. It's a great way to get the lay of the land. But once you start narrowing down those choices, those are going to give you opportunities to see things more in depth, see the residence halls, hear more about your academic programs. But if you're coming to campus, I know at a place like Roger in particular, I am always personally willing to work with my students to set up as many different conversations or touch points as we possibly can during their time on campus to make the most out of their visit. So don't be afraid to ask about different things and if they can happen during that tour.
Well, we appreciate that, Anna. And yes, students, be encouraged to ask your questions. I love, Anna, how you talked about the fact that you're the number one safest college town, and you're right there on the water, which is always an added bonus. But I also appreciate when you what you said in terms of when visiting. Students, walk around on your own. Many times, students visit campus, they're there with their families, maybe with siblings, and they feel this sense of comfort. But I think it's important to walk around on your own and really reflect and see if you see yourself there for the next 4 years. And don't be afraid to ask questions of a random student or anyone else that you see on campus. Now, Anna, you manage Roger Williams alumni and parent admissions ambassador programs. How do these programs help prospective students and their families gain insight into life at RWU?
Yeah, I think we're an institution that opened in 1956. So I say that in the sense of we're a lot newer, forward thinking, innovative. We have really strong alumni that are bought in and value what we're doing here at Roger and have been able to do amazing and exceptional things. They believe in the growth and opportunities that we have here on campus and what our students are going to do life beyond Roger. So finding spaces for them to connect with student to alumni or parent to future parent or whatever it might be is important to be able to share those stories and really either support through the college process or see where they are later on. For us, we do alumni interviews early on in the process where students, yes, it's helpful for us during their application review process to get some insight we might not have, but really it's an opportunity for our alumni to connect with you even before you've applied to us to say, hey, what was it like being a construction management major? How did that help you get to where you are now? Or hear from a parent about, hey, what was it like in this phase during the college process? I might be feeling a little bit stressed at this point. What were you doing with your student? Am I doing the right thing? And they're there just kind of like a pen pal or support in that sense too. Later on in the process for us, we do Roger chats for admitted students specifically, which I don't think our interviews in general are super formal in that regard, but a lot more laid back in the Roger chat. It's a student that's already been admitted. We're probably high on their list, and they're really looking to get some final questions answered, get kind of the real lowdown of what was that experience like. You've been there, you did the 4 years, you've been through it all. Um, and really just be able to give that insight and like their decision. And I always say, as much as we want Roger to be your home for the next 4 years, we know that these touch points are super important in you figuring that out for yourself in the college process as well.
Well, we appreciate that, Anna. And I have to ask, as a former student athlete and current coach, how do athletics play a role in the overall student experience at RWU? And what advice do you have for students looking to balance academics and, of course, athletics?
Yeah, we actually just had the NCAA did YD3 week this past week, and super timely question because so much of the quotes and things I was reading from students at Roger, other institutions alike, was how these students still get to participate in this competitive nature, still be on really great sports teams. We have over 27 varsity sports, club sports, intramurals, Division One sailing, so many opportunities for students to engage in their athletic endeavors, but you're still able to do programs like architecture, engineering, marine biology, pre-health, even double majors and minors and involvement in clubs and orgs and still be able to get that athletic component in. I'm sure as we can all agree the importance of sports as well and that camaraderie nature. You're automatically going to have a network potentially of like 10, 15, 20 depending on the sports team you're on of a close knit community as you're transitioning into college. A lot of those fall sports start a little bit earlier on campus, so that also helps with the move in process. So, sports, as you know, it's going to be really crucial for students. If it's something they're interested in, start getting involved and engaged in those conversations. Go to ID camps if they have it, or summer camps, whatever it might be, but reach out to the coaches. Word of advice, always best for the student to reach out to the coach rather than the parent or family member as well. But it helps you with the time management, it helps you with camaraderie and all those sort of things for sure.
Well, that's terrific. And this entire conversation has been fantastic. I really love the collaborative nature of everyone coming together. And unfortunately, it does lead us to the last question where we want to give the best advice to students and their families getting ready with the college admissions process. So I'm going to ask the question, and I'm going to ask each of the panelists to just give their answers to the question: what is one piece of advice you'd give to students and their families as they navigate the college search and application process? So we're going to start with you, Jeremy.
So I can answer this as having almost 30 years in the profession and also going through the process as a parent. So the one piece of advice that I would have is to lean on each and every school of which you are interested in to rely on the professionals to help you through the process. Whether it be Roger Williams or another institution, there's going to be committed admission professionals that is going to help you navigate the admissions process and then specifically understand the admissions process at that respective school. There's going to be financial aid professionals that are going to help you understand the financial aid process and then specifically how financial aid is given at that respective school. So please, my one sense of advice is lean on the professionals of the schools of which you're applying to because they're really there to help.
Jeremy, thank you so much. This has been terrific, and you added so much to the conversation. We really appreciate it. Anna?
Yeah, my one piece of advice would really be do what feels right to you. I think the college process, it's super easy, especially in some parts of the country, the world, wherever it might be, to everyone in my community is talking about these specific schools or everyone's at a fair at these specific schools. But look up the different schools that are going to be involved. Find schools that have different opportunities for your specific passions, interests, your endeavors, because what might be right for your friend is not always going to be what's right for you. So there are schools out there where you're able to do it all or just about do it all. So find that place, don't settle, and get out of your comfort zone and maybe look around a little bit with that too.
Thank you so much for your time today, Anna. Tremendous insights. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Allison?
Mine is a little similar to Anna's advice. And mine would be to trust your gut. Think about where you see yourself being happy, where you see yourself thriving. Talk to the current students as much as you can. Don't just ask them what their major is. Ask them what they do on campus. That's going to give you the truest sense of what that campus feels like as a student, what it offers to its students, and also how it cares for its students. And where you see yourself thriving should be the place that you end up choosing, right? You want to find that whole package that is going to give you what you need to be the best student you can be. So good luck in the process.
Well, that's great advice. And Allison, thank you so much for your time and your expertise today. We really appreciate it. And Carol, last question.
I'm going to dive onto Allison's, and as you're looking at schools, what are the opportunities, right? If you are really excited and you play Dungeons and Dragons with a group of friends each week, is that opportunity here on campus? And you can find, being a history major at most schools, what is going to stand out? Where are you finding yourself feeling like home, right? When you walk around campus, do you see yourself here? Do you see the places that you'll be sitting to study? And don't be afraid to ask questions and keep asking questions and ask the same questions to different people. Is it really that homey feel of what people are saying?
Well, that's tremendous, Carol. Thank you so much for your insights and expertise today. You guys have all been phenomenal. Again, thank you to Jeremy, Anna, Allison, and Carol. Obviously, Roger Williams is so lucky to have you, as were we, on this podcast episode. And to everyone out there, good luck with the college search. Take care all, and best wishes. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The CAP, the College Admissions Process Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please don't forget to tell a friend and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. I am your host, John Durante, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The CAP. Thank you for listening to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success.